Deadbeats, losers, scum. Imagine this is how you actually refer to your customers. Hey, congratulations, you're in the debt collection industry. There's 8,000 collections firms in the United States, and each of them operate in pretty much the exact same way. They get information about a debtor, and then they call and 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 call. They grind, they cajole, they threaten, they coerce, until at the very, very end, they either get money or they don't. It is not a business for the faint of heart, that is for sure. And it's not a business where you make a lot of friends. In fact, Americans lodged 84,500 complaints against collections agencies in 2017 alone. I don't know everything, but I do know this. The more you try to fit in, the more your customers will tune out. That's why I'm so excited this week on the Talk Triggers show to tell you a story about a debt collector who sees the world very, very differently. Now, despite the often rough and tumble tactics, debt collections is a big business. Industry-wide revenue of almost $11 billion just in the U.S. It employs 120,000 people. Customers of debt collectors, banks, hospitals, credit card companies, utility companies, and to them, pretty much every debt collector looks the same. They use the same systems, the same processes to collect roughly the same amount of money. They're largely interchangeable. And this was the business problem faced by Kenlin Gretz. In 1988, Kenlin was kicked out of college. He was broke. He was at the end of the line. He got a job as a debt collector in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. It's a tiny, snowy hamlet. It's within shouting distance of Green Bay, but it's not really close enough to be a suburb per se. Kenlin was paid a whopping $4.25 an hour for his work collecting unpaid medical debts, which is the specialty of the firm. He worked his way up and eventually was given the opportunity to purchase the whole firm. When he did so, he knew it all had to go. The cajoling, the threatening, the systems. He had to completely toss out the typical debt collections playbook. He had to create something that customers would notice and remember to be able to get more business from banks, from hospitals, from people like that who hire debt collections agencies. He set out to fly right in the face of the other 7,999 debt collections agencies in America and how they had done business since the very beginning. Today, Kenlin's firm is one of the fastest growing companies in all of Wisconsin and is one of the leading debt collections agencies in America. They now have more than 250 employees. What powered such remarkable growth? Kenlin turned his business, and frankly the whole industry, upside down with a talk trigger, a single strategic operational choice. He decided to be ridiculously nice. The tagline at Kenlin's company is ridiculously nice collections, but it's a lot more than a slogan. It's the very DNA of the company. It's the air they breathe and the water they drink. They are ridiculously nice in every way and in every circumstance. Kenlin says, you see, a person's ability to pay changes. Just because they're a non-payer today doesn't mean they're a non-payer forever. But we call them back a month later, 2 months later, 3 months later, 4 months later, and they take our phone calls because we were so nice to them the first time. Kenlin says if you treat people like crap, if you make them feel like they're worthless because they don't have money today, they're not going to take your phone call next time. And that's how we collect more money, by simply being nice, even if they don't have money when we call them at first. Now, this system works so well, it almost defies description. You see, it's very common in the collections agency to do what they call a shootout, where our customer is selecting a debt agency and they'll take 50% of their debt and give it to one firm, and then 50% of their debt and give it to another firm, and they give them a set amount of time to do as much collection as they can. And then whichever of those firms gets the most money back in the assigned time, then they get all the debt moving forward. It's like an A/B test in digital marketing, but of collections companies and their collecting prowess. Now, since moving to this ridiculously nice approach, Kenlan's team has been in about 2,000 of these shootouts, and they have won 97% of the time. One of their customers is the Dickinson County Healthcare System. It's a small hospital in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Here's what their revenue manager, Deanna Christensen, said about Kenlan's firm. She said, "I have always been extremely impressed. They not only treat the patients that we refer to them ridiculously nice, but they treat us as a client ridiculously nice. Any communication I've ever had with them has been pleasant. So being nice isn't only passed on to the patient, but it's passed on to us as a client as well. All the hospitals in the region network together, and I'm part of the revenue cycle group. I've actually recommended them to several other hospitals because their approach is so different and effective. I love working with them." But the impact of this talkably empathetic approach isn't just about dollars and cents, my friends. The truly remarkable piece of this story is that of Kenlan's 250 employees, 60% of them started out as people they called about a debt. I want you to think about that for just a moment. Imagine having an experience with a debt collector that was so positive, so transformative that you thought, you know what? As soon as I get this bill paid, I want to go work for those guys. It's pretty amazing. Remember, in Kenlan's business and in yours, competency doesn't create conversations. I don't know everything, but I do know this: same is lame. And if you want your customers to talk about you, give them something they don't expect. Something like ridiculously nice collections. At Kenlan's company in Wisconsin, it's called AmeriCollect. Next week, here on the Talk Triggers show, you'll meet a restaurant in Portugal that gets customers' attention with a very fishy giveaway. To never miss an episode, subscribe now on YouTube. You can get this show as a podcast too. Of course, just go to wherever you get your audio and search for the Talk Triggers show. See you next week.